Okay, welcome back, viewers of the YouTube. This is Bikes and Bits News, where we chat, have a laugh, and occasionally give you some useful information about motorcycles. So it's me, and I'm joined today by Sports Bike Susie, or as you probably know her, Susie, but we're going to call her Sports Bike Susie for this segment.
I should probably have the other mug.
Yeah, we're actually doing
the
wrong mugs. Okay guys, well, thanks for joining us today, and yeah, we're going to go over some news items. This is our first B&B news for 2022. It's quite exciting. Susie's second outing on B&B. Not the second outing on motorbikes, definitely not, but on B&B news, second episode. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the new BSA Goldstar. Incredibly popular bike. There's loads of buzz about this. We actually saw it at Motorcycle Live in December.
Yeah.
Susie reminded me on the Saturday before the last day at Motorcycle Live that it was still on, so we sort of panically went up there to see if we could catch it the last day. So that was a good remembering.
Yeah, and that's actually the day that we walked in and saw my new dream bike, the Ducati 950S. Excuse me if I've got that wrong, I don't really know it that well. But yeah, we walked in, that was the first bike we saw in like pearly white. And I could almost put my feet down, which I go on about a lot. But if you're a small rider and you're watching this, you'll understand what I'm going on about.
I feel sorry for the R6.
Well,
what was your favourite until...
I haven't definitely changed. I've got to get on them first.
So it's Italian or Japanese.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the BSA Goldstar.
More on that later.
Yeah, BSA new retro standard machine. It's a 652cc big single cylinder engine. It's got a big single seat, obviously retro styling, single headlight, dual analog instrument cluster, sort of a upright riding stance. So overall big classic manufacturer coming back into the game. Yeah, we're overall happy to see what BSA has brought forward, and it'll be good to actually ride that bike when it comes out. I have put up a couple of videos before on the BSA Goldstar,
which we'll put the link for.
We will put the link for, try and remember to do that. But one of those was actually pointing out some of the downsides or the little flaws in the design of the new bike. So if you are interested, go and check out that video because that's quite informative as well.
Yeah, it's had a lot of traction there.
A lot of buzz about the Goldstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite the hot topic. I should mention 45 bhp, and I think it's about 41 foot-pounds of torque. So that puts it right in line with the Royal Enfield Interceptor, which you actually presented on last time, saying it was the best-selling bike of
2021.
Was it 20?
November 21, wasn't it?
Well, the Meteor was that.
That's right.
I think last year, the year before, was the Interceptor. So BSA squaring up against the Interceptor.
So it'll be interesting to see at the end of this year whether that is one of the biggest selling bikes, being something new, and obviously this trend of the more classical retro bikes being, which we were actually talking about this morning, how motorbiking is going up. Was it a 9% increase on sales of bikes?
Yeah,
and
28,000 people passed their test this summer.
That's a huge amount. That was the most since 2012. 28,000 people did their motorcycle test in the UK. So that's like...
Do you know what's sad about this?
It's go on.
That you weren't one of them.
I was not one of them. I was intending to be one of them, but with many other things getting in the way, a bit of a very busy time at the moment with my business and stuff. So yeah, I will be one of those statistics this year. So watch that space. We'll be documenting that for you viewers. I hope that that's something that you want to see. Oh,
definitely. Yeah, we'll capture that.
So for people that are watching that are new riders, there's always room for you here on Bikes and Bits. We don't just talk to like kind of more seasoned riders. We're going to have a new like part of it, which is going to be me.
Yeah, that'll be really great actually.
The kind of new, you know, what you want to get into, what you're coming into. But on the news of more people riding, we were saying how interesting it is that increase is not shared with sports bikes.
Yes.
So that's something I'm going to do sports bike news later because that's where my passion is. But it's really interesting that although more people are riding, we're definitely not seeing that same increase on sports bike sales. More people are going into like the classic and retro. So
and adventure bikes. Everyone wants to be sold a BMW GS.
Yeah.
Or Himalayan, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the broadcast.
Yeah, so let us know what you think about that, because I'd really like to hear from you viewers whether you think that's true, or the numbers aren't indicative of that, or whether it's just that sports bike lovers have already got their sports bike.
Well, I think as bikers get older, you become less less of a risk taker. Your back, you get less bendy in the horrible crouched position.
Well, you know what I'm going to say is the
I
answer
knew
to that.
this was coming. Yeah.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about your age. If you're doing yoga, you can get up there as women as well. Well, not just women, but men that pillion. Whoever's pillioning, yoga is the thing. We've said this before. We've been at many test days where they're shocked at me jumping up onto the tiny little top seat.
At the track, though, there was guys doing stretching and various, loosening up, limbering up before they went on the track, and half of that was yoga poses. Mm-hmm. So the word is getting out there. Okay, so BSA Goldstar. I'm going to move on now to another really exciting entrant in the retro classic field, and that is the Meteor 350 Classic. So obviously this channel is heavily invested in the Meteor 350. I've actually got that machine. We all love it. It is, or her, should we leave it in its full name? So we all really like that bike. It's superb, great fun, really nice looking, good build quality, nice little engine, very economical, gets you from A to B. You can enjoy the scenery. You like it as well. Mm-hmm. What they've released since the Meteor 350 came out is a new, you could say it's a variant, or you could call it a new bike. It's the Meteor 350 Classic.
It's like what you call a model, isn't it, in cars, I think?
Yeah, you could say that, couldn't you?
Is it a model? It's the same engine.
Same
core.
Similar chassis.
So they're just doing a variant on the model.
It's the same 18 horsepower and 18 foot-pounds-ish output of the 349cc single with the balancing shaft, so it should be quite a smooth ride. Same non-adjustable suspension, 41mm shocks up front. It will have a 31.7 inch seat height, and we'll work out what that is in new money and put it on the screen for you. And it'll have the Tripper navigator, which we actually still haven't set up yet because my phone's too old. But the new bike will have the Tripper. It'll have a kind of retro-looking analog instrument cluster, a lot more retro, say, than the Meteor. Price will probably be around 4,000 again, maybe a little bit more, and it'll look almost like a Royal Enfield from the 1950s with the elongated mudguards, the teardrop tank, extended mudguards. I get in trouble saying fenders because it's too American. Yeah. So I'm saying mudguards.
Well, just say whatever
comes into my mind first. And then I should end on this point with a Meteor 350 Classic. The colours are insane. I'm amazed about the colours. So I'm going to read through some of the colours, and I'll probably put some pictures up on the screen for people. Chrome bronze is...
Wow, that sounds a bit of you.
It is incredible. I should have showed you the picture so you could get your reaction. I will later.
Can we just quickly dip in there and say that Sean is a particular lover of bronze, and one of his favourite cars would be an the F10.
No, E60.
Oh, an E60. E60. An E60 M5 in Sepang bronze.
Well remembered.
So we're just going to pop a little picture of that here for you to either ogle and love or vomit over. So I'll leave
Everybody
that to you.
said get black, and I
would prefer. Get black.
Yeah, I did get black.
Thankfully.
Because the best one came up in black. But if a Sepang had come up in that spec,
oh dear,
we would have had that one instead. But anyway, chrome bronze. That is absolute stunning colour combination. So going with a retro frame, a lot of the components, a lot of the surface area of the bike, so that'll be the tank and the fenders, will be chrome, as well as the exhaust and other things.
Well, hold on, but chrome bronze, will they be chrome bronze? You're only talking about one colour at the moment.
I'm talking about what? Yeah, this colour's so good.
We're stuck on this colour still. We haven't actually moved on to the list.
So you've got...
So will the colour coordination be on all of the different pieces for each colour?
Well, no, it's slightly different for each offering. But with the chrome bronze, you've got a sort of backdrop of chrome with highlights of bronzy. You wouldn't like it. I admit that you wouldn't like it, but it's incredible. Okay, so you've got gunmetal grey, which is basically blacked out.
Yeah.
You know, looks like the mutt that my dad's got. Probably if you were going to have one, you'd have that one.
Yeah.
Next
Or
one
something
is...
Larry.
Sorry, that's wrong. Stealth black is the one that you would like. Totally blacked out.
Black.
Gunmetal grey is
That
a little
sounds
bit...
nice, though.
Yeah, a little bit like modern BMW grey. Chrome red is also the similar as chrome bronze. You've got this chrome backdrop with highlights of red.
Okay.
The forks are red. And then you've got, little trim pieces. The wheels are either forged, like the Meteors, the Meteor that we've got, or spoked, which you can't actually get spec'd on this Meteor. So it'll make it look even more retro.
Is there any other colours though? I think we're kind of diverging a little bit.
Yeah.
Why don't you just read out the list of colours?
Okay, chrome...
Bossy woman coming across here. Okay, we've got chrome bronze, gunmetal grey,
chrome red, stealth black, halcyon green, halcyon grey.
Wow.
Yeah, the green, obviously I like green, that's quite a nice one. Yeah, and going back to what I was saying, spoked or cast wheels and bi-bi calipers, the same as you get on the Meteor, so same calipers as me. So basically, as you said at the start, it's a kind of reinvention with most of the same technology as the first Meteor. So that was the first one out. This is now a advancement or innovation on that. Okay, so I've got another thing to mention, also Royal Enfield themed. So we are going to mention the Hot Himi, which is the new engine they're proposing to put into the Royal Enfield Himalayan. So obviously the Himalayan's got a huge fan base. They've recently ridden one to the South Pole. So a team of 2 Royal Enfield employees took a lightly modded Himalayan and rode to the South Pole. So it shows what you can do with a Himalayan.
Amazing. We're hoping
bike.
to do something similar in India at some point.
So adventures, yeah. But going back to the Himalayan, the owners have always wanted a little bit more power in the Himalayan, and everyone said, why don't they put the parallel twin from the Intercept into the Himalayan to bump it up to about 47 brake horsepower, because it's now about 25, so significant increase in BHP. What they've apparently, it's all rumour and hearsay at this stage, what they've apparently elected to do is to increase the capacity of the single cylinder from 411 cc's up to 450 cc's. And apparently with that increase, you can go from 25 horsepower up to 40. You still get the narrowness of the frame, you still get the overall lightweight, because the Himalayan is about 199 kg, and if you think of BMW or a other adventure bike, they're at 240, 250 kg. So okay, the Himalayan is cheaper and smaller, but it's also lighter as well as less powerful. So let's wait and see what happens with the new Himalayan. And as I mentioned, that I'm going to move over to let Susie talk about some super sport news.
Well, sort of super sport. We've got a bit of a mixture here. So I'm going to start with a bike that I sat on. I don't know whether we shared any footage of that.
I think we have. We've got a picture of you sat on it.
So this Triumph Speed Triple RR, which we sat on, which we can share a picture of that.
You sat on, it's quite confusing with the names, you sat on the Speed Triple RS, which is the more naked one.
That's right, sorry. So I'm moving on to talk about the RR, but I sat on the RS, which is the more naked version of that. So they're bringing out a RR or RR.
It's very common,
which is going to be like
bikes,
the
isn't it,
fared.
R's to
There's
things.
R's and S's all over the place. I'm forever going.
Wait till we get to Suzuki.
Which one is that? I'll wait for this. Honestly, I've been asking Sean about this all morning.
And I haven't even known myself.
He doesn't know either. Anyway, they're bringing that out, so a more fared version of that very, very popular Triumph Speed Triple. So in other news, we're going to bring Suzuki into it, and we're going to go to like a more of a sports tourer, which I do like as well. I'm kind of like always keeping my eye on these a little bit.
More sensible but still powerful motorcycle.
Which as a rider, maybe I would like the upright position, but as a pillion, I definitely much prefer the sports bike position. So if you're a pillion, let us know in the comments below what you like, because it's really interesting. Again, I love hearing what other people think. I like that leaning forward, kind of being with my hands on the fuel tank and around Sean. So, but that's just my preference. Maybe as a yoga teacher that helps. So this beautiful new bike that they brought out is using a K5 derived engine, which everyone knows as the very famous GSX-R1000 2005 engine. So they've used that derived engine to put into a GT, Grand Tourer, sports tourer, to give this kind of cross between really smooth, kind of curving, powerful sporty engine in a tourer, which I really like, because I don't see why, if you like both, you can't have both. Obviously you're not going to get the same when you're riding it. I'm obviously not a rider myself, but from knowing how that feels as a pillion, you're not going to get the same feeling. So you're going to have that power, but what this does also is they're encouraging it to be something that you'd like amble about on a Sunday morning, but also you could go on a big adventure. So it's like, rather than having two bikes. So I really
That's
like
a really good point, actually. Yeah, rather than having a sports bike and a tourer, sports tourer, you can have a bit of fun on the weekend when you want, but it's also incredibly practical.
And it looks really nice. So this is the Suzuki, right, we're ready for all these S's and R, GSX-S1000 GT. So just to be clear, and it's kind of paralleling or
it's a rival, isn't it?
To the Kawasaki. Wait for this. I'm going to look because I'm going to say it wrong. The Ninja 1000 SX, which actually Sean was advised to look at when we were testing the Ninja ZX-10R, which everybody knows I love. Which is very much a love for us, including the 6R. So anyway, it might be something to try. We did try it. I don't really like the feeling of power hitting us while you're upright, but I get why people would like the extra power, especially touring and going on a long adventure.
So can I just add, because Suzuki's primary colour is blue, there's colours metallic Triton blue, which I think is that one in the picture, metallic reflective blue, and a gloss sparkle black. So not that many range of colours.
No, and the two blues sound like they could be quite similar.
They could be.
But it does look really sporty.
It looks nice.
Have a look. We'll pop a picture.
150 bhp, as you just mentioned, from that famous engine, which is more than enough for sports touring.
You can see I haven't been memorising the technical stuff.
Well, neither have I, because I've actually got the notes. Yeah,
but that's okay. We don't need to know this stuff off by heart.
226 kg, so not massively heavy, and it's going to come in at £11,599, which sounds cheap, but something I did read in the small print, if you want the panniers and mounting kit, guess how much you have to add on for that option?
Gosh, I don't know.
900
of
the Queen's English pounds.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it actually ends up being about 12.5 grand, which puts it directly price to price with the Kawasaki that Susie was talking about. So very close. When you've added the panniers, it's basically like for like in pricing. But yeah, something different, something that the Kawasaki's reigned supreme in this segment. It's nice to see Suzuki re-entering the fold with that class of motorcycle. And
they're saying that it's Suzuki's best bike that they've released in a long time. So it's like they were obviously right at the top of their game back in 2005 with the obviously iconic Gixxer. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I would test ride that bike.
Well, let's set that up.
Let's arrange that. Okay.
So my last piece of news, which is quite exciting, is the Yamaha R7. So they're coining this the return of the super sport. So we all know the R1 is really iconic for Yamaha, like their iconic super sport. And this is taking a much lighter frame. So apart from that lightness and nimbleness, they're saying that sitting on it is really like sitting on an R1. So it's got that kind of very super sporty look to it, but much less power. So I think this fits in with what we were explaining earlier, or talking about earlier, discussing this morning ourselves. The move away from that kind of enormous, powerful super sport bike to like, okay, well, I like the look, but I don't want to be on a Widowmaker. So I want something in between. So I really like the idea of that. We all know that I like the R6. And so as an entry bike for me, this is actually something that I'd be considering at some point maybe. But yeah, it looks beautiful, lighter, which is always a positive, and it's just really changing that kind of thing that if you have a super sport, it's got to be the 1000.
Yeah,
it's got to be a 1 litre bike, because that just isn't true. There's so many different ways to ride, and if you like the look, you don't You don't have to have.
Well, you can't use a litre bike on the road.
No.
Even if you were extremely talented at riding it, the road doesn't allow for it to be fully
it's like having
utilised.
a Ferrari or something. But I will just say that it's also half the price, so hence why they've done it as well. So you're getting lighter, you're getting half the price, you're getting obviously a lot less speed, but still really nippy because it's lighter, and they're saying twice as fun. So perhaps another one.
Half the
I'm
price, twice
hoping.
as fun.
Last time I mentioned a bike, I got to then see it. We in the last version of this, or the episode, I mentioned the 30th anniversary of the Fireblade, and I got to sit on it at the Motorcycle Live. So I'm hoping by some sort of manifestation power here, I mentioned the R7.
And it appears magically.
And it will appear. So.
But Yamaha weren't
Let's
at
set that up.
Motorcycle Live.
No, they weren't.
Which was a pain.
Which we were really disappointed about. We actually looked that out because I wanted to sit on an R6.
The only thing they had for sale was kids' dressing gowns and baseball caps.
Yeah.
Which would have been good for my nephew. But other than that, there was nothing Yamaha, which was a shame. So a few specs from me about the R7. 72.3 bhp, and that's about the same power as the ER6F, the Ninja 650 that you really liked.
Yeah.
It's a similar kind of performance to that. Again, it's a 689cc engine derived from the MT-07. They've upgraded the suspension a little bit and brakes, so dual 298mm discs up front, so quite a lot of stopping power. And the bit that Susie was talking about, the bodywork is heavily inspired by the other R bikes in the Supersport range from Yamaha. So, a few examples: the Y-shaped LEDs up front, or daytime running lights. They're basically lifted stylistically from the R1 and the R6. Also at the rear, you've got a cutout air duct in the rear pillion seat, which. Do you remember? You've seen that, definitely. When the dealership was Yamaha, before it became Kawasaki, we went over there and we looked at it's hardly any pillion seat, but stylistically they've lifted these elements from the R1 onto the R7. So I really like the idea of it. Like Susie was saying, it's great for almost a newish rider, enough power to have fun with. You've got that aggressive riding position, so you feel like you're on a super sport, but it's not gonna kill you on your first outing. So that's the R6. R7. Almost said R6. Force of habit. Okay, so that's your story's done, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is wrap up B&B News episode 2. There's a few that's the sort of bike news coming up from us. We're going to be doing lots of biking adventures. We're going to get the Meteor out of the shed in 2022 when the weather clears up, and we're going to go on some adventures, and we'll hopefully record that content for you guys and make some laughs and informative videos.
So don't forget to subscribe if you like this, guys. We love all your support, and we'd also really love to hear what you want to see. So this is something that we see coming through a lot, and we love your comments, so thank you for all your comments.
Comments are amazing, actually.
But we'd really love to hear, what do you want to see us do? So what adventures do you think would be a really good idea? Like, Sean's looking for some really inspirational adventures to do to really test his Meteor and other bikes. So if there's something you want to see, then share away. We'd love to hear. But other than that,
well, thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you in the next video.
Bye guys. Have a nice day.